This is what I did to lose weight with hypothyroidism, with PCOS, and with hormonal imbalances. So before we start, I want to give you a quick summary of why I had weight loss resistance, why I gained weight 30 pounds in 2 months. Hypothyroidism actually lowers your BMR, makes you really tired, you move less, hence weight gain. And PCOS goes hand in hand with insulin resistance, increased inflammation, and an imbalance in your hunger hormones, which can make it very, very difficult to sustain a caloric deficit. And on top of all of that, I had hormonal imbalances and I had estrogen dominance, which leads to weight gain. Again, I also made the mistake of overtraining and undereating at the time when I had hypothyroidism, which is a very normal mistake because you're gaining weight uncontrollably out of the blue, and well, that just lowered my BMR even more, my metabolism. So I had a trifecta of so many things going against me, making me feel horrible. In a few months, I looked drastically different and not in a good way. But that's a story for another time, so let's get into what I did to lose the weight. So the first thing I did was to take a step back from dieting and intense exercise. You could say I took a break, but during this time, I still knew the importance of moving my body daily. So my exercise was solely just taking long walks with my dog, and I dedicated time to finding doctors who would test my hormones, test my thyroid, and this is easier said than done. That's another story for another time because it took me at least 10 doctors for one to finally agree not only to test my hormones, but agree that I had a thyroid issue, I had a hormonal issue. Once I had my results, I focus on addressing my hypothyroidism and my hormonal imbalances. I have a free guide linked in my bio because some of the doctors, when I got my results back, they said I was completely fine and my lab results were normal, but I was not, and I was not in my healthiest state. So once I found a good doctor that would listen to me, that would acknowledge, and also worked with optimal lab reference ranges, they recommended I take metformin, spironolactone, levothyroxine, and I said no to the metformin. I tried spironolactone, I did try levothyroxine, but I felt no improvement. And spironolactone, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but it messed up my periods drastically. I had a month-long period. That was not only super frustrating, it was exhausting. And it bothered me so much that I made an appointment with my OBGYN, and she recommended that I go back on the birth control pill to reduce the side effects from spironolactone. So once again, I found myself in this medical system where one symptom pops up and you play whack-a-mole. I ran as fast as I could. After this experience, I decided to take the natural route. And I developed my own routine, of course, under the supervision of an expert. And what I did is I dedicated time to clearing and stimulating my lymphatic system. By that I mean jumping, dry brushing, lymphatic massages, sauna, exercise, movement, stretching. Your lymphatic system is wonderful, and especially when you're in a period of your life where you're not feeling your best, you're not at your healthiest, dedicating time, prioritizing your lymphatic system is one of the best things you can do. And then I fell in love with the supplement world and I wrote my routine down. And my routine at the peak of my symptoms was I would take a thyroid multivitamin by Thorne, my hormone balancing drink that changed my life, which is primarily myo-inositol and D-chiroinositol 40:1 ratio. I think most PCOS girls know this by now. It's phenomenal. And I have the recipe if you want to make it, linked in my bio, of course. Everything is free. Then I took DIM for my estrogen dominance and berberine for my blood sugar, spearmint tea to lower the androgen levels, omega-3s for inflammation, turmeric for inflammation, and vitamin D3 plus K2 because that is wonderful for all humans and especially if you have PCOS. Next, I had to work on improving and boosting my metabolism. This is the key. This is the most important thing. Before I get into it, I want to debunk some things because I don't want you to lose your time. I don't want you to lose your money. I did both of those things. So let me just help you out here. Green tea is not going to magically boost your metabolism. Eating spicy food or eating smaller meals throughout the day will not boost your metabolism. And please, by all means, do not take any pill or supplement that promises you that it's gonna help you with fat loss, boost your metabolism. Just, that's a red flag. Don't pick it up. So the best and proven ways to boost your metabolism is by either gaining weight, eating more food, especially protein, and the most important one is building muscle. I did go in a slight caloric surplus, mainly because I was really prioritizing protein in order for me to build muscle. Muscle building changed my life. And yes, I did gain a little bit of weight. I mean, it was primarily just muscle, but since I did it slowly, it was a minimal weight gain, and regardless, the physical benefits were incredible. Now, we all know that lifting weights and eating very high in protein will build muscle, but for me, I had to approach exercise in a very different way. My goal was to avoid elevating my cortisol and my inflammation levels because they were through the roof. And even though high intensity exercise is incredible for all women, I think I'm not alone when I say this, that my body just doesn't like it, doesn't agree with it. I feel much worse. I don't feel good when I do high intensity exercises and when I lift heavy weights. So what I opted for, choosing a form of strength building exercises that were low intensity. By this I mean Pilates, calisthenics, yoga, strength training but with low weights, or just your body weight. These exercises, I felt really good afterwards. I felt like I had more energy, my mood was improved, and that's what you want to feel after a workout. If you feel more tired, have a headache, and have fatigue the next day, that's your body just telling you that it's not for you, or maybe you're not feeling properly. I don't know, but for me, low intensity exercise was the key to everything. So I chose low impact strength training. I did it 3 to 4 times a week. And I started with 20 minutes and then 25 minutes, and I went to 30. Now I do 45 minutes a week of exercise. But of course, I gradually increased. Now, the diet. I changed my diet to a low glycemic diet because it is proven to be one of the best diets to follow if you have PCOS. So essentially all that means is you switch out your carbohydrates for a complex carb. Of course, I also reduced sugar, processed food, any inflammatory foods, and I primarily ate a whole foods diet. Once my thyroid levels and my hormonal levels were significantly better, my cortisol was normal, my inflammation was lower, that's when I felt that my body could handle the stress of a caloric deficit, because it is a stress on the body. So I choose to keep my exercise the same way that I had for the past 2 months, 2, 3, 4 months. And now I started to implement a very slight caloric deficit, not an aggressive one. And because I had healed my metabolism, my hormones were now happy, my thyroid was much happier and functioning, I had less inflammation, my cortisol was not through the roof, and I had more muscle in my body. This was very easy, and finally, I was able to lose weight. I had a long way to go because I wanted to do this as slow as possible, not only because I wanted to keep my hormones and my thyroid happy, but because I know that is the best and the most sustainable way to lose weight. And I cannot stress how important it is to also implement some degree and level of meditation. Because now that I go back and I try to find the root cause of why I had hypothyroidism, why out of nowhere my PCOS spiked and decided that at 20 years old I wanted to ruin my life. I go back to that period in time, and it was a time where I had the most stress. And I really believe that stress is one of the biggest drivers of inflammation, which is the root cause of all disease. I was living in a chronic fight or fight mode. I had a chronically dysregulated nervous system. So I implemented breath work and mindfulness into my routine, and they both really changed my life. And I never realized how powerful they were. I always thought it was like a cute thing to do, but it truly works and it's really powerful. So I really recommend you do that, healthy or not. Another thing I did was find ways to stimulate my vagus nerve. And there's many ways to do that. Just listen to your favorite music, to journal, to have self-care rituals, to take a bath, to go on walks. to attend sound baths, to go to therapy, have a massage. Anything that de-stresses you, makes you release, is an incredible gift you can give to your body. And now, how did I make it sustainable? The key here to sustain this is that whatever you do on this journey has to become a permanent lifestyle change. When you choose the exercise that you want to do, when you choose the approach you want in your diet, make it something that you truly love, because you're gonna have to stick to it. And this is what I mean by choosing your favorite exercise. And in reality, there is no best exercise. For me, it was low impact strength training. But truly the best exercise is the one that you can stick to. So please do what you love, and don't weightlift because your favorite influencer is now doing weightlifting. Don't train for a marathon because it's now a trend on TikTok. Stick to what you love, stick to what you believe in, and do you. Do what you love and do what makes your body feel good. Also, take your exercise slow in the beginning, because this will not only prevent a fatigue, it will also prevent a plateau. You don't want to overtrain. I made that mistake. Take it slow, and slowly over time increment more difficulty, and it will keep it fun. And speaking of benefits, the benefits of building muscle are endless, especially for these conditions, for people who have weight loss resistance and everything that I went through. Putting on muscle not only boosts your metabolism, it improves your insulin sensitivity, promotes hormonal balance, lowers your androgens if you struggle with hirsutism like me, lowers your blood glucose levels, helps with weight loss, improves your mood, and it slows down aging. So it's a no-brainer. So to end all of this, I just want to say that this was my personal journey. I am not a medical professional. I am not a certified personal trainer. This is just speaking through my personal experience. And even though everybody's different, I really believe that this common issue we have is really just our bodies trying to protect us. And all I want to do with this video and across my channels is help you take back control of your health, make you realize that you're not alone. And hopefully I can make your healing journey less difficult, and also be a source of information for you to learn about how incredible, intelligent, and powerful our bodies are. I hope this helped, and see you next time.